think I killed my neighbor's cat.
I think I'm psychic. I just want to start out by saying, I don't think I'm psychic. I know it. Well, my first psychic experience was on a Saturday at Bed Bath & Beyond. I was buying candles and looking at new curtains for my apartment in Aspen. It's a real nice place, beautiful view. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw a man approach me. He looked like he was really intent on telling me something. He was a stranger to me. I don't really have a lot of people coming up to me that often. So he looked at me, and I'll never forget what he said. 1 through 10. And at first I was confused and it took me off guard, but all I could see was 4. And I was right. And I knew then nothing else mattered. I was psychic.
So me and my buddy James one night were playing some air hockey, and we were pretty hungry, so I decided to go get some McD's. So I was like, hey, yo, James, I'll drive. By then I had about 2 cups of wine. I was a little bit tipsy, but I popped in my brand new Maroon 5 CD and started to jam out. And as I pulled out, I heard a terrible noise.
It all started one night. I was walking home from work, Jethro's Haircuts. I specialize in faux hawks and ponytails. But then it was as though I saw headlights behind me, so I thought, oh crap, a car. I turned around, there was no car. It was just a bright light in the sky. And that's when it started to reel me in. I felt like a moth fluttering around a light bulb. After it started reeling me in, I felt like I was lifting off the ground, literally. I had almost a bird's eye view of my house, more like a view of the whole world. I felt like Google Earth. I was Google Earth. After the blackout, I woke up shaking, and I had a scratch. I never get scratches, so I knew this was a definite sign of alien abduction.
I used to perform for children at birthday parties, but it's just not my true calling. Another time I had the chance to open for Steve Miller Band. That was really cool, but unfortunately the show was... Your phone.
Noise though, I'll tell you what, it was the most undescribable sound I've ever heard. It's like, you know the end of ketchup bottles when you're like squeezing the last bit out and it's like, it's got that thick stuff on the bottom and it starts to ooze the like liquid? Yeah, well it's not like that at all. It was more like chewing crushed ice and playing an unreadable DVD, and it was just like kind of and it was pretty crazy because I was blasting my Maroon 5 CD pretty loud. So as you can imagine, it was like...
Honestly, you would have to be stupid to think that this isn't an outer space scratch. I researched plenty of scratches online, and this is definitely from outer space. I did take almost half an ounce of shrooms that day, but I heard that they don't do anything when it's cephalated. And so I was completely sober when it happened. The next morning, my parents sent me to school because they didn't believe a word I was saying. I had a big test. But all I could see was the flashbacks. alien face staring at me, kind of like this. I couldn't do the test. I couldn't remember any answers or anything, just flashbacks.
My education, not so well. I'm not a big fan of math, English, or reading. I don't really read too many books. I bought this at the Scholastic Book Fair. Came with a book. I didn't read it. I met Stephen King one time at a author book signing. When I shook his hand, I felt the transfer of energy. His next book is going to be in the horror genre.
So after the noises, it felt like I hit a speed bump, but at the end of my driveway. And the boys, they just pounded down all the wine, so I had to go get wine while we were getting the food. So I didn't really have time, but I just, it could have been my neighbor's cat. I really don't know. I just remember driving in blood and a lot of wine.
While the image was still fresh in my mind, I was able to draw a quick sketch on the back of my test paper in class that day. As you could see, it has Betty Spaghetti arms, Yao Ming legs, torso like Conan O'Brien's, and Danny Glover's head. And the eyes, I spent a lot of time on those. They're just like people eyes, only they were really intense and up here. The morning after, I found something lodged in my ear. It would have been quite a lot of earwax, and I was about to just chuck it, but I noticed it was rather shiny. So I kind of just kept it. And you know how when you put your ear up to a seashell, you hear the ocean? Well, you can hear space when you put this up to your ear. It's kind of stupid though, because space is a vacuum. You can't hear anything. And I just like anybody out there who this will happen to, or if it has happened to you, you will get through it. It's a long, hard process, but you will get through it. And if you want a faux hawk or a ponytail, come to Jethro's.
You guys are cool, right? Like, you guys won't tell anybody. You got the blurring, the stuff.
Yeah, the blur's on.
Oh, all right, cool. Okay, you're good. You're good. All right.
I can't move!